Becoming a full-time content creator is a dream job. Specifically, it was my dream job from about the time I was 13 years old. At the time, YouTube was a growing platform, and the creators who were popular on it were my celebrities. I looked up to them, and I wanted to be like them. And I dreamed of being able to make a career out of making videos for the internet. However, I never anticipated what the potential downsides of my dream job might be. And I think it's finally time that I share the truth about being a full-time creator on YouTube, but also on social media in general. So let's sit down for a coffee chat here in my van and get really honest about what it's truly like to be a full-time content creator. Here's the thing though, no one really talks about this, which is why I never anticipated some of the challenges that I'd face or some of the emotions that I'd be feeling. Most influencers paint a very rosy picture of what this job looks like. But why? It's not that they're lying. Truth is, being a full-time content creator is an incredibly privileged position to be in. It's an objectively great job that anybody who has it is quite lucky to have. You get to be your own boss for one. And in many cases, you make more money doing this than you would in a comparable 9-to-5 job. I know that I make more doing this than I would as like a marketing manager at a tech company, for example. Therefore, this job is highly desirable. So the reality is, viewers do not take well to influencers complaining about their highly desirable, very privileged job, which I totally get that. And I remember feeling exactly that way myself many times. Back in the day when some of my favorite creators would say that they needed a break or that they were leaving their YouTube channel altogether, I couldn't believe it. I would think to myself, if I ever had that many subscribers, I would never give it up. I'd just be grateful to have it. And honestly, that's very fair. I'm very sympathetic to that feeling, which is why before I share any of the shitty parts of being a full-time content creator, I just want you to know that on the whole, I am very, very grateful to do this work. And honestly, it still is my dream job. I wouldn't trade it for anything. However, that doesn't mean that there aren't parts of it that are hard, on like my mental health in particular, and my sense of self-worth. And I think it's important to share that with you because if you're watching my channel, then you're on the path to being a content creator yourself, and I feel like I need to be honest with you about it. And I kind of wish that somebody would have been brave enough to share about this with me when I was first getting started. So we're diving into it. Okay, so I need to be honest with you. I think I'm kind of addicted to validation. To the validation that comes from getting views, likes, comments, all that. This is not a good thing, and it is definitely a direct impact of the job that I've been doing for the last 5 years. I find myself seeking out metrics by which to measure my self-worth on any given day. Like I need a number to tell me how I should feel about myself. First, we have YouTube Studio. I need to check to see how my latest video ranked. If it's less than 5 out of 10, I beat myself up for not having a good enough title or thumbnail or not making my video interesting enough. Next, there's my Reels views. I love days when I post a Reel because it means I can refresh my profile over and over again and see the number go up. Days when the view count skyrockets feel great. And days when that view count just slowly inches up over time feel not so great. Finally, I've got my Instagram stories. Honestly, some days when I don't have a YouTube video or a Reel to post, I'll post an Instagram story just so I have a number to look at. Yikes, okay, we're getting really, really honest and vulnerable, so you have to promise that you're not gonna judge me because I know this isn't good, but I think it's important that I'm honest with you about what I'm experiencing because I have a feeling that some people watching this will probably relate and maybe feel less alone. Because like, yes, all of this stuff is deeply unhealthy, but it's really, really hard to know how to stop. Unfortunately, you can't disengage with it entirely because it's like, this is my business, but it's hard to find that perfect medium between understanding your metrics and using that to your advantage, but also not letting it define your life. Here's the thing, I wasn't always like this. I spent 10 years pretty much making videos for the internet that got almost no feedback at all because I had almost no audience. So I was getting pretty much no views. And I've always loved making videos just for the sake of it because I enjoy the process. I enjoy seeing a vision come to life. But since this became my job, I've conditioned myself into needing that validation that comes from the views and the comments to be able to tell whether I'm good at my job or not. I think if I'm really honest, I've always had something a little bit like this. When I was a kid in school, I like lived and died by my grades. And since I pretty much graduated university and then soon after became a full-time content creator, I think my views and comments just kind of became my new grade. grades. And I feel like the same feeling impacts a lot of content creators, and it just kind of ends up making us feel like we're not good enough, because no matter what, the number that you're looking for, the number that feels like a high view count or a lot of comments to you, is always going to be increasing. You continue to set higher and higher goals for yourself, which just leads to you feeling like you're only ever disappointing yourself. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Katie, go touch grass. These are numbers on your little screen about social media. They don't mean anything. And honestly, I wish that were true, but this is my livelihood. This is how I make money. And also, I just really love making content. Like, I genuinely enjoy this job and I really don't want it to go away. So that makes me hyper aware of how my content is performing at any time, because I'm always worried about becoming a flop. And what if all my growth and success is behind me and my business is just gonna dwindle until it goes away? Obviously, I know this would not be the end of the world. I could go get another job. It would be fine. But I really like this job and I know how sweet of a gig it is, and so I'd really prefer for it to not go away if possible. Honestly, it feels like my dream job, my dream life is constantly on the line, and the chances of it sticking around or going away is based on how well my latest YouTube video performed. And so when I see those numbers go up and down, it hits in a really deep emotional place for me. When I see a video get ranked 9 out of 10, it feels like all that I've worked for and all that I've achieved might be going away. And so while yes, I know that social media isn't real and these numbers don't really matter, from the point of view of this being my job and my business, it can often feel really precarious. Just quickly, I need to say thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Dash Hudson. Dash Hudson is honestly one of my favorite brands to work with because I feel like they really support content creators and social media managers. You've probably heard me talk about it before, but Dash Hudson is a platform for analyzing your social media metrics. I've just talked at length about how this can be a fraught subject for content creators and social media managers, honestly. But Dash Hudson kind of helps me with my relationship with social analytics. You can monitor all of your stats from across YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all in one place. And I love this because it means I can decide when and how often I'm checking in on my social metrics, which helps me maintain more healthy boundaries with social media. Rather than bouncing around checking every single app for how my posts are performing, I can look at it all in one place when I want to. Plus, with their custom visual dashboards, you can decide what stats are most important to you and customize your dashboard so that you can see those when you log in. Dash Hudson is truly a great tool for anybody who works in social media to analyze your metrics when you want to, but not be burdened by them when you don't. You can grab a free trial of Dash Hudson at the link in my description. So you know how we all have that little voice in our heads that whispers stuff to us to make us feel like shit? Your videos aren't even good. How could you possibly teach others? Your views are too low for how many subscribers you have. If you were prettier or smarter or more interesting, then more people would watch your videos. You're such a wannabe, you should just give up. When you're a creator with an audience, you will see your deepest, darkest insecurities show up in your comment section. And it's not that I don't have a thick skin, like I feel like I do. There is a lot of stuff you could say to me and it's not gonna bother me at all. If people call me fat or ugly or say that my nose ring is distracting or that I say about or process funny, I really can just shrug it off, like that stuff doesn't bother me a ton. But if someone comments critiquing my work, the quality of my videos, or my ability to give advice or my expertise, that shit cuts deep. It really taps into my existing imposter syndrome, and that stuff really does bother me if I'm honest with you. It's hard because when it's just your own thoughts, you can use the argument that it's just your self-doubt talking or your inner saboteur for my fellow Drag Race fans. But when someone else says it, it makes it feel like it's true. So with all this being said, what are the solutions? How do we address this stuff? Clearly, I'm in the midst of personally dealing with it, so I don't have all the answers yet. But from talking to some of my creator friends, and I have to give a special shout out here to JC West, who helps me talk through all of these emotional dilemmas, these are the conclusions that I've come to. For one, we need to keep talking about it publicly. It helps reduce the stigma, and it makes you realize you're not alone in feeling all these things. And as an up-and-coming creator, it helps you know what to expect from this career. And number two, and I think this is the biggest solution for your personal journey rather than like the state of creators as a whole, and that is to be in community with other creators. Talking with other people who can understand your situation and sympathize with what you're going through has been massive for me. It just helped me feel supported, helped me feel less alone, and I just honestly don't think I'd be as clear-headed about all of this if it weren't for talking through these things, particularly with JC. And number three, probably also therapy. I think therapy is probably helpful for these things. Despite the emotional or mental health challenges of this job, like I was saying before, I honestly wouldn't trade it for anything. I love this work and I feel super grateful to get to make videos about stuff that I'm interested in, and that's my job. My goal here is truly to support you, to encourage you, to help you feel creative and like you've got someone who has your back through this whole weird experience of being a content creator. If you want to support me as a fellow creator, honestly, the best thing you can do is just click on this video and watch it next. It helps YouTube know that you liked this video and you liked my content in general, and I really sincerely hope that this video will be helpful for you. I think it will be. So go ahead and check that out next, and thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped you feel less alone and helped you know a bit more what to expect out of this career. And as always, I hope that you're having adventures and following your dreams, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!